looking at me? This wasn't supposed to be your life!
For some reason, the lifestyle fascinated me. And I guess because I thought it was going to be fun.
You think it might be innocent, or just using it once, or just using it to have fun.
It does look like all fun and party and happy times, but drugs are the 100% complete opposite.
It was literally that quick. I let my guard down, I tried it, and that was it. That was the end of it.
I just happened to do the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Once you start using it, it's not just, oh, it's gonna stay recreational forever. It's not that way. It progresses, it gets worse.
It's definitely a dangerous road to go down.
It's like playing Russian roulette with your life. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
It might seem like it's cool and you escape reality or whatever, but all you're doing is postponing the inevitable.
You're just masking your problems rather than handling them.
The drug becomes the fix, and what happens is, after weeks, months, years of living that sort of, lifestyle, is the problems just stack up.
You may be angry at people in your life, and maybe that's why you start using drugs, but when they're gone, you realize how lonely it can be.
If I would have known some of the things that were gonna happen due to my drug use, I probably never would have surrounded myself with the people that I did.
I probably would have been a lot smarter about it. I would have made much better decisions and choices.
If I had all the information, I probably wouldn't have started doing it.
If I knew then what I knew now, I would never touch it. I wouldn't even think about it.
Seeing what they've done to my life and other people's lives, I don't want no one to use ever, you know what I'm saying? And my heart gets full when I think about someone thinking about using it.
Now, what's the one thing in this world that you know that you would never do? That you would never do to somebody, Would you steal from a friend? No, you wouldn't? Okay. This will make you do that. This will make you do that.
I had goals, I had dreams, I had aspirations to do a lot, and I just put my life on hold for 11 years.
The things that you lose, a lot of times you can never get those back.
I have the question today, what ifs, you know what I mean? What if I had chose to do this or that?
You see in movies or something, you go in the time machine and you change one thing, everything changes. That's exactly what it does. If you would have changed that one hit, that one joint you smoked, I'm sure everything else would have been different.
That's the truth. That's the truth about drugs.
I'm gonna try meth just once. I'm gonna smoke this just once. I'm gonna steal just once. I'm going to sleep with him for meth just once.
I'm going to try meth just once.
Many factors make us who we are. Everyone is familiar with the age-old argument of nature versus nurture. Our personalities, are they genetic or manufactured by our environment? It's both. Our genes begin the process by creating the foundation that everything else will build upon. Imagine tractors tilling the soil and preparing it for growth. Next, our personalities shape the land, like growing trees and building houses shape the land. So for the first decade of our lives, our brain is nurtured into a quaint little neighborhood, ready to house our thoughts and grow with the things we learn. But then puberty hits, and our hormones rage like a hurricane. Our brains naturally adapt, however, in some cases, maladapt. So what exactly do we mean by maladapt? Does nature take a wrong turn somewhere? It's not so much that nature goes wrong, but rather modifies things for our survival. One factor largely responsible for altering our minds and our bodies is stress. Stress can be very damaging. If stress lingers indefinitely, it is called chronic inescapable stress. Chronic stress may come from abuse or low self-esteem. So when the body is stressed, it starts to produce certain substances that will help balance itself out. One of the key substances released is called glucocorticoids. They are released from the adrenal glands above the kidneys and directly affect the brain. Glucocorticoids seem to appear almost immediately in the presence of a stressor. They are interesting because they do not linger for long, however, are potent chemicals in shaping the brain landscape. Rather than using a tractor to prepare the land, it's more like using a jackhammer. How these glucocorticoids work in the addiction equation is this. It is believed that these glucocorticoids make the nucleus accumbens sensitive to dopamine. A nucleus accumbens that is sensitive to dopamine is more likely to release high levels of dopamine easily. Dopamine is a necessary substance for our survival, but like most things, must exist in moderation. So what is dopamine? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter found in the reward pathway of the brain that is directly connected to the pleasure centers. Dopamine is also responsible for driving the primitive survival mechanisms and is particularly important when it comes to motivation and feeling good. So dopamine translates our bodily needs into physical action. It makes us do things like run and hide if we're scared, skip and jump if we're happy, or make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich if we're hungry. Dopamine also causes us to be alert, like at night, if we hear a noise and are scared. This is one of the primal survival mechanisms that keeps us from being preyed upon. Now, low levels of dopamine can also cause us to be moody and irritable. But dopamine is replenished in the brain while we sleep, so when we wake, things always look brighter and more cheerful than they did the night before. That's why they say to sleep on it. So how does dopamine come into addiction? Because it is the ever-propagating motivator to have us want more and continue wanting more. Sounds addictive, doesn't it? And for someone who is an addict, they continue to want and want. Often the desire becomes so strong it can make them do some drastic things. Why is it, though, that an addict keeps wanting? Why is enough never enough? That's a good question, and brings us to another part of our addiction equation, serotonin. Serotonin's job is to put the brakes on dopamine. It controls the amount of information the brain processes at a given time. It basically tells us when enough is enough. It tells us that we are satiated. Without serotonin to tell us we've had enough to eat, to drink, or have spent enough money, the maladaptive brain would continue in its compulsive manner to quench the cravings. The brain is basically in overdrive and there are no brakes on the car. Serotonin sounds good where dopamine sounds bad. Such is not the case, however. Without dopamine to remind us that we're hungry, thirsty, or scared, humans would have never made it into existence. Dopamine's purpose is for survival, so craving can be good. The problem happens when our wires get crossed and our maladaptive brains get confused on what to crave. Here is a good example. Take Mr. Blue and Mr. Red. Red has a relatively normal brain terrain with the right levels of serotonin and dopamine. Blue, on the other hand, is an addict. He has a nucleus accumbens hypersensitive to dopamine and low baseline serotonin levels. The two crave an ice-cold beer after work. At this point, both are craving in exactly the same way. The difference we see is after each gets what they want. Blue, with low serotonin, never feels satiated. So even when he has beer after beer, there is not enough serotonin to tell him he has had enough. On the other hand, Red wanted one beer and one beer was enough. He had enough serotonin to make him feel satiated. The conclusion here, based on neurological and clinical research, is that a brain with a nucleus accumbens hypersensitive to dopamine plus low baseline serotonin levels equals addiction.
Have a shot.
Here, drink some of this.
Have a shot.
The first time you do it, you put yourself at risk because it takes a toll.
I drink to experiment and also to relieve stress.
There's always a reason to do it. I'm stressed. I don't like my parents.
It goes from school, like, that's monkey see, monkey do. You just want to fit in and you just want to try that out. Why is everybody else doing it? There must be something, great about it.
I was 14 years old when I tried weed with my friends.
She had done it before I did, and she showed me and she said it was okay to do it and she liked it. I tried it.
It was just a new feeling that I needed to explore further.
I started thinking if I only drank on the weekends, I wouldn't get addicted to drinking.
But I don't think I'll get addicted though, or to any type of drug.
In the beginning, I felt like I was controlling it, but after that, it got out of control. Like as I said before, I was high for 6 months.
I mean, it was every day. I'd be back there in the alley smoking weed with everybody else.
I drank so much that I started throwing up my stomach lining.
My health deteriorated. I've lost homes. I've never been able to hold a job. I've lived on the streets. I ended up losing my scholarship in college.
Everything I wanted to be just went down the drain.
I could justify using in order to enjoy myself and other things.
I just felt like I was dying.
They opened the door for us and she was dead on the bed with a needle in her arm.
Gave him a shot of adrenaline to his heart, flatlined him, and killed him right there.
But when it's all over, only person that's paying the price is you.
I'm only gonna try meth once. I'm not gonna be like that guy. Hey, look, I'm only gonna smoke meth once. I'm not gonna be like that guy. Look, I'm just gonna shoot up just once. All right, I'm not gonna be like that guy. I'm not gonna be like that guy.
I'm only gonna do meth once. I'm not gonna end up like that guy.
Cigarettes were the first thing that I was introduced to. Alcohol and cigarettes, drinking, smoked pot, mushroom, ecstasy, anything I could get my hands on this wallet. Prescription drugs, liquid acid, heroin, cocaine, Percocet, Percodan, Vicodin, Valium, and then God knows whatever the marijuana was laced with.
Your brain at 20. I would think this is a 70-year-old's brain.
Teenagers, adults, they have no clue that when they're smoking pot, they're actually damaging their brain.
Everything that I saw in school about it, I found out one day that it's all true and it's all happening to me.
When your brain works right, you work right.
I'd like to just be able to think normally. What we're looking at here is a healthy brain.
I'm just worried that my brain cells are going to be gone and they're never coming back.
And this is a cocaine brain. So the real question is, which brain do you want?